Welcome back to my channel, guys. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, and let's have a chit chat today about your home and why perhaps it doesn't feel quite right. There are 7 common design mistakes that keep happening, and I'm here to set the record straight. Very first one, which is a pet peeve of mine, that nobody should be using because there are so many good alternatives, are faux materials. There is no reason why any of us should have faux materials. Faux materials, to me, are unfortunately unattractive. And they just bring the unworthy into your very worthy home. So if you have a faux marble, if you have faux wood, all of those things certainly give away the lack of character in your home. First up, let's talk about materials. So why faux finishes like fake wood or printed laminate can only be one of the biggest style traps out there. The price point may be better, but the visuals and the end results are going to be terrible. So if you've got those, don't fall into the trap. Get rid of them, start fresh. Remember, anything that has character, that comes from our planet, that's real, is always going to be better. You've probably seen this in furniture or countertops, faux walnut pieces that look almost too smooth, or laminated marbles that look almost too identical where the pattern is repeated. Well, that's the kind of faux finish that really gives away the beauty and the potential gorgeousness of what your home could be like. And so anything that's flat and artificial is a go. Not everyone has the ability to spend whatever amount they would like on their home. And for that reason, it's better to find alternative and affordable pieces that will actually work in your home. So, solid colored laminates, for example, can look sleek and modern, while solid stained birch or oak bring warmth and texture to a room. So the key is to focus on materials that celebrate what they are instead of trying to be something they're not, if that makes sense. This one change alone can make your space feel a lot more grounded, a lot more timeless, and certainly more expensive. And speaking of first impressions, let's move to a design mistake that can affect the very first moment someone steps into your home. Before I get into it, let's switch gears for a moment. You all know one of my favorite parts of hosting is making sure my guests feel special. And for me, that often means serving up something homemade and delicious. That's why we've been loving today's sponsor. So Craftsy, thank you for sponsoring this video. And Craftsy is an online community where millions of makers, DIYer lovers, such as yourselves, such as me, and lifelong learners come together to find inspiration, learn new skills, and advance their creative passions. In this class, you'll learn how to make iconic French pastries. Boy, do I love making French pastries, and I always want to expand on my skills, and there is always something to be learned, like how to make macaroons or how to make airy cream puffs. I saw these cream puffs at Pain Quotidien the other day, and I almost attacked the glass case. So I want to know how to make them. Even croquant bouche, those are really beautiful to make as well. So each recipe is broken down step by step, making it approachable even if you're not a pro in the kitchen. If you've ever wanted to elevate your baking or explore any new creative hobby, now's the perfect time to join. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description section will get a full year of premium membership for just $1.49. That's unlimited access to all of Craftsy's incredible classes for less than the cost of a latte. Like, that is amazing. And it's only available to new members. So trust me, there's nothing quite like serving your guests a tray of freshly baked goods. And with Craftsy, you'll have everything you need at your fingertips. The next problem that I see time and time again is neglecting your entryway. It seems to be something that people just forget about. So it seems to be something that is often neglected and forgotten about. And maybe it's something that is so overwhelming that you decide to tackle at a later time, and later never comes. So here's your opportunity to set the tone of your home. And therefore the entrance should be one of the first and most important decisions that you're going to make in welcoming people into your home. You want to give guests a preview of your style, and far too often entryways get neglected, as you know. So shoes pile up, keys are thrown, and things start to look very cluttered. This might seem like a small matter, but you have no idea that the first impression really sets the tone for the rest of the house. And really going into the details of creating a beautifully organized and cohesive entrance can make such a vital difference. Add a large mirror, for example, to reflect light and visually expand the space for those of us who have small entrances. Then layer in practical storage pieces that will, of course, allow you to hide shoes and clutter so that things always look organized, even when you don't expect someone to be coming over. Now that we've created a more welcoming entryway, I know a lot of you who watch this channel have unfortunately not clicked the subscribe button yet. And if I could just take this 1 second to remind you how important it is to our team, to all the people that work tirelessly on this channel and at our firm, it would mean so, so, so much because it validates all the work that we're doing. And it will get us to work even harder and get you better and better content week after week. So if you can, it's free. Just click subscribe, write a comment, or even give the video a thumbs up. Now, back to one of the biggest mistakes I see, and that is leaving too many walls bare. I love more of an intentional bare wall, but having way too many makes the room feel unfinished. So when you have nothing on your walls to draw the eye or create visual interest, a room can end up feeling very lifeless. And in order to change that, and in order to make your decor on point, you need to balance it. Balance is a very important part, not only of our lives, of my life, I hope of your lives, but also of design. So the key here isn't to cover every inch of your walls in art, but to anchor the room with pieces that bring it personality and to intentionally leave some walls completely blank. For me, large scale art has the most impact. Beautiful black and white photography also has great impact. And spaces like living rooms and dining rooms where scale really matters is where you need to focus your attention. So mirrors are another great option. They reflect light, they make small spaces feel larger, they can be very beautiful and can possess a lot of history, and they are very readily available in so many places, especially if you go to flea markets and find a vintage, old, beautiful piece. Now, speaking of balance, let's address a mistake that happens when you swing too far in the opposite direction and overload your space with trends. You guys know how I feel about trends. We don't want to overload on them. We want to have, again, balance. Whenever you're at a moment of uncertainty, ask yourself, would Nina say this is okay, or would she say, hold off? Go with your gut feeling of what you think I would be saying, which again is going to be the 70-30 rule. Trends are fun. They keep things fresh, just like the little bowl I have here in front of me with the little round balls on it. Very trendy, very fun, but not everlasting. So make sure that you don't have too many of them in a room filled with, for example, too many of the bowls with little dots on them or round balls. Neon signs would be another faux pas if you have too many of them or any of them at this point. Perhaps if you have chevron patterns or every other trend that we've seen come and go, they always come and they always go. So try not to go deep into the trends and try and have the power of restraint. This is why I love vintage shopping, because nothing really is going to be trendy that you are finding in estate sales. They're going to be, longevity pieces, hopefully. Now let's look at a smaller but surprisingly impractical design detail. If you need specific suggestions for your space, don't forget you can easily book a call with me, and all you have to do is click the link in the description section. My calendar pops up, and next thing you know, we have a 25-minute or longer appointment together on Zoom. And it's been really easy and great to meet you guys, look at your space, and find solutions for all of your dilemmas. Now, the next issue are grommet curtains. Now, grommet curtains are easy to purchase. They're easy to install, but they are very unattractive. So curtains might seem like a small detail, but they have a huge impact. Probably one of the biggest differences that I see in a well-curated, well-designed home are the curtains. Those who pay attention and those who do not. Messy curtains always unelevate a space. I don't even think that's a word. They make your space look absolutely juvenile. And We are of the Nina Takesh School of Design, and we like things to be buttoned up. We like things to be beautiful. We like things to evoke a sense of sophistication, and therefore grommet curtains have got to say adieu. So the solution would be to get a French pleat. I'm not saying spend a lot of money. I've seen French pleated curtains. I've seen a double French pleat. I've seen a single French pleat, etc., on Amazon. It doesn't mean that it has to be expensive in order for it to be good. Just make sure that you are paying attention to the details. Now that we've covered windows, let's turn our attention to another decor staple that often gets overlooked: the wrong vessels. Now, a lot of us receive gifts of florals from loved ones, and they all come in these terrible glass containers. And these containers must never be reused. They can be recycled, certainly, but to be reused as floral vases is a no. I would recommend those of you who receive a beautiful arrangement to literally take them out as you have them and then place them in a vase that is beautiful, that is artistic, that is perhaps artisanal, that is something that is worthy rather than a glass container. These glass containers can cheapen your home, they look very generic, and you're going to miss an opportunity to actually use your gifts. So many of us have received vases for wedding presents, or in general, they're just sitting there being unutilized, and then people are collecting these glass vases, which need to be absolutely recycled and tossed to the bin. And since so many of you asked, today I am wearing this beautiful cashmere sweater with gorgeous little hearts and crystals from Zadig & Voltaire. It's so cool. I absolutely adore it. And my jeans are a really comfortable, well-cut pair of jeans from Rudy. We will link everything in the description section. Finally, we're going to talk about one of the biggest design missteps that I see, and that's choosing your paint color too early. We try and choose our paint color at the very, very end of our projects, even though the contractor and subcontractors want to kill us. And the reason is that we don't know what colors we are going to ultimately choose. We don't know what patterns are available and what fabrics are perhaps back ordered, and things pivot always last minute, especially when we get word that a fabric we're waiting for is no longer available, discontinued, or whatnot. So waiting to get the right color walls is very important, because it'll save you from making very costly painting mistakes. So in order to pick the perfect paint color, as I said, wait as long as possible, and instead start with your anchor pieces. So choose your sofa, try and choose your anchor pieces early on, and get samples of your fabrics so that you can take those to the paint store and find a color that works nicely with your fabrics. So for example, if you choose your sofa or your dining set or your rug, we always work from the floor and we work our way up. So if you have the ability to match back your paint to your rug, that's probably the best way to make sure that you have a beautiful homogeneous room. And once you've selected those main elements, it's much easier then to choose your paint and know that it's going to work and match beautifully the rest of your home. Hopefully these 7 elements will prevent you from making mistakes and allow you to really have a space that you can call home. It was great seeing you today. I hope you had a nice time chit-chatting on the sofa. Do let me know if you are making any of these mistakes and what topics would interest you next on this channel. I love you, and I can't wait to see you again next week on this channel, The Red Elevator.